Al here with Hookup Lures. You know, I've grown up in Florida. I've been here a long time, and you know, I've spent a lot of time on Okeechobee, spent a lot of time down south in the Keys. But today I'm going to an area that I haven't been to for ages, and it's Flamingo. And I'm here with Alan Sherman, who guides out of here. He's been coming here since 1955. And Alan, why don't you tell me a little bit about how you got started down here? And I mean, I'm really looking forward to today to seeing. It's just such a unique area we fish here. And give us a little history and background on what we're going to see and what we're going to do today.
All right, so actually I've been coming down since probably 1959. I'm not that old.
Not that old, okay.
Right. But anyway, so late 50s, and the road in here, which is paved now, it's been paved for many years, used to be a dirt road. And it was tough getting through there, but it was a pretty cool place because you'd see so much wildlife. You see owls and eagles and bobcats. Never seen a panther, but they're around. We never had pythons either.
Yeah.
So, but we do have pythons now. A lot of the small animals that we would see coming through the park, they're gone. The pythons have eaten all of them.
Wow.
So there would always be little rabbits right in here on the road, and they're gone. We don't see as many deer as we used to. But the crazy thing is, you don't see the pythons either. They camouflage, they hide, it's crazy. They just had a recent hunt for them, and I think they caught a little over 130 or so of them. I'm not sure how long that lasted, it was a few weeks or more, but they need to catch a lot more because there's thousands of them out here, and they're doing a lot of damage. So we're in Buttonwood Canal. It's a brackish water canal. The water used to run straight through. They put a dike up here back in the 60s, I believe, and it was to hold the fresh water. You know what? I'm not 100% sure at the moment. I'll think about it later and I'll come up with a better answer, but this is a man-made canal, and it was built to drain the Everglades so that the farmers could farm.
Yep.
Found out that once they drained it, and they got the farmers out there, the mosquitoes were so bad that they were killing the farmers and their stock. So they gave it up. They diked this off, and they diked off a lot of areas to hold the fresh water back.
Okay.
Oh, what's going on here? A little bit of water spray. See if we can miss that. Anyway, we're in Buttonwood Canal. It's an idle zone for a little bit. We're about out of it. We can run fast, but we'll go slow for a few more minutes. We see a lot of tarpon, small baby tarpon in here, year-round. I haven't seen one roll as of yet. They can be caught. We fish them a lot with live baits, or fly fishermen will do it with flies. But soft plastics work on them as well. Cool. And then there's quite a few snook in here. These fish move in and out of the canal depending on the salinity. And the water in here can be very fresh depending on how much rain we've had or how much water they're dumping from Lake Okeechobee, or it can be very salty. And we catch sea trout and snappers in here, black drum and sheepshead. So as a kid, we would rent a boat from the marina behind us, and they would allow you to come through here, fishing Coot Bay, which is the bay coming up in about 10 minutes, and then they'd let you go a little ways into Whitewater Bay, and you really didn't have to go far. Coot Bay, we would catch all the fish we ever wanted. But over the course of time, some of these areas are not as productive as they used to be. They go through phases where they're very productive, and then they die off a little bit, and then they come back again. Behind us, the other side, is Florida Bay. Florida Bay is humongous. It stretches to Key Largo, Alamorada, Marathon, and then you work your way into the Gulf of Mexico. And halfway from the Keys to Flamingo, you have very good bone fishing, permit fishing.
Yep.
Then you hit the more of a salinity, a more of a brackish water, and you lose those two species, but then you pick up a lot of snook and redfish, and then the sea trout and tarpon on both sides. So we have a gigantic area to fish, but it gets a lot of pressure. On the weekends, there's hundreds of people fishing here every weekend, except for when in the summer when it's really hot and the mosquitoes are bad. That's when I like to fish here, because that's when the fish are aggressive. The water's warm, the snook, the redfish, the tarpon, they like that kind of water, and they feed aggressively. Right now, we're in the middle of winter, which this year started in January. It usually starts in late November, sometimes early November. It didn't get cold until mid-January, and our fish are really messed up. They just don't know where to go. They don't know if it's going to be warm today or cold tomorrow. So they're in between in the areas that they typically will go to when it gets cold. When it gets cold, the redfish don't care so much about cold weather, but the snook and tarpon definitely do. And you'll see those fish shut down for days when it gets cold, and they won't turn back on until the water starts to climb up. But then again, they'll move into areas where the water temperature stays more constant. Often you'll see snook and big redfish in shallow flats when it's freezing out, but they're mud flats.
Yep.
And they bury themselves into the mud, and they'll stay warm. And if you're able to get a bait in front of them, you stand a chance of hooking up on those fish. You need a shallow water skiff to get into these spots because it's really shallow. But otherwise, they'll move into creeks like this, where it's only 6.5 feet deep here, but some of these rivers and creeks are 10, 12 feet deep. Or they'll have drop-offs or pockets.
It doesn't sound real deep, but
no.
you know, you get, you know, I've been a little bit of time out here, and I've pushed my boat off of a lot of stuff where, you know,
we all?
I would have been happy to have been in 6 foot of water. I would have been in 12 inches of water. So, you know, what's the average, you know, these flats and stuff, and all these tides going up, but, you know, maybe people understand, like, what, you know, what
average depth is 3 to 6 feet. At a low tide, depending on wind, which can blow the water out of an area sometimes for days.
Yep.
You may see no water at all.
Yep.
The bottom exposed and not ever flooding back. Yep. It's happened before where people have gotten stuck and stayed stuck for over a day, waiting for a tide to come in. You get a wind that blows the water out. Like if you have an outgoing tide and a wind with it, you may have 0 water for 12 hours.
Very cool.
I
know we're out of that no wake zone, and I'm looking forward to seeing what this area has to offer. I'm really excited about today. So we'll be back with you guys in a little bit. We'll get set up and start fishing and show you guys some neat stuff here.
All right, I'm ready.